My next guest spent 8 seasons in the NFL with the Cardinals, the Texans, and the Saints. He's a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, just recently announced his retirement from the NFL. Congratulations, the Humble Rumble. David Johnson, congratulations on an incredible career.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
I haven't talked to you, I feel like, in 8 seasons. What is going on? What have you been doing? Tell me everything.
I know it's been a while. I've been really stay-at-home dad with our 3 kids and hanging out with the family a lot more. Being a coach to our 7-year-old son, DJ. And, it's going well. We have a basketball championship and a flag football championship. So who knows where that'll lead us.
I feel like I've talked to a lot of players lately that have, like, I think Emmanuel Sanders, Chris Harris Jr., all coaching. I just had Donovan McNabb on yesterday. He's coaching in softball and everything. Do your kids understand, does your 7-year-old understand your greatness?
No, he doesn't. Well, I wouldn't say greatness, but he definitely doesn't understand that I played in the NFL. He thinks all dads played in the NFL. He's like, what team does that dad play for?
Really?
I got to kind of explain it to him a little bit that not all dads play in the NFL. They have other jobs, which are awesome too. So it's funny because he'll like try to talk to dads and ask them, where their football helmet is at in their house or where their equipment is at stored at. So it's funny.
He's like, no, that's Jim. He sells insurance for Geico. He doesn't exactly. That's what he went to school for accounting. That's not exactly the thing. Has he seen your highlights?
He has, and honestly, it's more of his friends that will show him. His friends who are big into football. See, I haven't got him big into football yet. He's like not trying to play every day. He's more like playing basketball or baseball.
Okay.
And his other friends are all doing like the Justin Jefferson dance every chance they get at recess. Every time we see them at the pool, they're trying to do the gritty and stuff. And DJ, he's just going along with the flow. He doesn't know that I played against him. I actually talked to Kid yesterday about how I played against him and I played against all these other guys, played with J.J. Watt, and they're like, no, you didn't. I'm getting in arguments with these 7-year-olds about it. And they don't, sometimes it's hard to get through their head, that I played, but it's funny.
But I don't know. I think you all do it wrong. I've talked to so many, I think I was talking to I've talked to everybody about this. The fact that you don't have meetings, tape watching, you sit your butt down. Let me introduce you to a thing called YouTube, and we're gonna go back to 2016 when you were just a dream and hope in my eyes, and you should show them. I would be flexing on that all day. That room that you have there, I would make that my whole house, DJ.
I know I should do that with DJ, but my 7-year-old. But when we watch it, he's like watching the other guys. I remember the other day he asked me for another running back's jersey, and I was kind of a little hurt by it, I was like, I think it was a McCaffrey jersey. Great jersey, but I was like, man, that kind of defeats my ego a little bit. And, I might have to start doing that. Having watched film like we had to all day for 6 hours straight.
I'd be like, J.J. Watt, I'm going to FaceTime you in 3 seconds. I'm with a bunch of 7-year-olds, and we're going to blow their minds. I just think it's actually hilarious. What's your son's name, the 7-year-old?
DJ.
That DJ thinks that everyone has a room like you have.
Oh, he does, and it's funny because he thinks everyone's friends with Larry Fitzgerald. I have photos of him hanging out with Larry, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my dad's friend," He's like, "Oh, you don't know him? You should know him." To his friends, and they're like, "No, DJ, we've never met him before. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, okay, well, let's go play dodgeball or something." He doesn't know how to talk to kids about.
Okay, I'm gonna call him so he understands that that's the most insane thing, that he gets Uncle Larry. If I were to dream up in Hollywood what the perfect uncle would look like, it would be Uncle Larry Fitzgerald. How is Larry Fitzgerald?
He's doing good. He's still golfing every day. Every time I talk to him, it's always golf or business, and he's always trying to help me out. Now that I have transitioned to retirement, he's talking to me about investments and stuff and just trying to help me out because I don't know what I'm doing in the world of business. And he knows a lot. I feel like he owns half of Arizona. And so it's good talking to him and just being now I don't even know how to say it, a normal person, just trying to, learn more about stocks and bonds and learning more about, just trying to save money and do right and do everything the right way.
Why'd you retire?
I felt like it was time. Obviously, I didn't play last season. I tried to continue to work out and play. And I think the biggest thing with me is that I just got burnt out of training relatively by myself, especially when everyone's in the season and trying to wait for the call, and just having to do it by myself and no one to, just train and grind with and get ready for that opportunity was tough, was taxing on me. And I know I could have definitely should have been on a team, and I feel like I still had tread to be able to play for teams and be able to contribute to whose ever franchise would have gave me a call. And I think that just the wear and tear on my mind and just, lifting was just tough going through last season. And I started to do it this off season. And once they started OTAs, I realized it was time. And also I kind of got used to being with my family. And like I said, coaching my son, DJ, and just being with them and hanging out with them, going to school, hanging out with them every day. And I just, fell in love with doing that. And I realized how much, not necessarily that I missed, but I did miss a lot of the things that our kids were going through when I was playing in the NFL. And so it's definitely a brighter spot. And, I'm glad that I have a family to come back to now that I'm done playing football. And, it's been a blessing to have Megan and my family with me. And, I just got used to it, and it's been fun, man. It's been an awesome time. It's been an awesome time just going on vacation with them, hanging out, playing catch. Now DJ's old enough that I can play catch with him, play football, play catch, play baseball, and we can actually have talks of like strategy of sports and all stuff like that.
It's all fun and games until he wants a McCaffrey jersey. That's
I know. It's like, you're not getting that jersey. I have 5 DJ David Johnson jerseys I can give you. So
you have a beautiful family. You have a beautiful life. So many blessings. So many things to be grateful for. We're sitting here in June. As we get into July, I guess I would just love, because you're so eloquent in talking about it. Like, what are the thoughts? How would you describe what's going on up here right now, being away from the thing that you were so in love with for so long?
You know what? Honestly, since I didn't play last season, and then basically, this whole off season didn't really do much organized training with any teams, that my brain is feeling great. Like I said, I've realized how blessed I am with the family I have and the opportunity that I have in this life. Obviously, I was blessed with the contract that I got, and I'm able to not stress so much about financial strains of providing for our family, college tuition, stuff like that for our kids when they get older. So I'm good. I'm at a good place. Having a great time with my family. We're on vacation a lot, especially now with school being done. Finally, we can do stuff, and so it's been good for me. I have no complaints at all. Now, the biggest thing, like I said, is just figuring out how to transition to what I want to do next, which I have no idea what that could be or what that is. I know I love, coaching. I know I love, keeping kids active. But with coaching, I've talked to, as I played in the league, just talking to strength coaches and running back coaches and coaches in college, I feel like they have less time with their families than we did as players. It's wild, I remember talking to a lot of coaches in the league that they said they had to stay the night at the facility just because, they're by the time they get done, it's like 11 o'clock, and then they got to be back at the facility the next morning at like 6. So they said they would just stay. And I was like, see, I don't really want that life right now. And, my kids are young. I want to be there for them for every step of their journey in school and life. So
it's a real sacrifice.
We'll see.
You look at those coaches, those coordinators, strength coaches, like you're saying, everybody that makes it work. It is it's overwhelming to think about the sacrifice they make in being away, and 23 out of 24 hours thinking about the team, the sacrifice their family makes for them to achieve greatness and all of that. And I hear what you're saying, and I feel like you're in a great place. But I also am calling BS, because I'm watching I'm looking at you, and then I'm watching these training vids, and I'm like, this isn't gonna stick. I just feel like you're not. I feel like you might come back.
No, no, I'm good. I'm settled.
Good.
You know what? No, that's like an 105-degree heat, just training and here in Houston in the swamp, and I'm good. I
There's
honestly
no
say
team.
there's
There's
no.
no team, David, that could call you and say like, "Come on." No team that you'd be. If there was one team that could pique your interest, who is that team?
You know, there's two sides to it. Obviously, if I wanted to get a ring, which I haven't got, it'd be obviously a team like the Chiefs. But I would love to go back to Arizona, and I got a lot of fans there. You know, whenever we
Yeah.
come back, go back and visit, you see a couple of 31 jerseys of mine, and just just get back to that environment where I did have the success, and it'd be cool to at least finish my career there, and retire as a Cardinal. That'd be something that I would love to do. So it'd probably be, I would probably just Arizona. And then if a ring, it'd be somewhere, a team that has a chance to make it.
No, Arizona's the right answer.
But I honestly,
I know,
I'm
I
good.
know, I know.
Good.
I know you are. I had to, come on, I'm doing my job. You know, I had to put out there. But I mean, Arizona would be the call. And now let's just go in the review a little bit and just enjoy your amazing moments here. The moment that put you on everyone's radar. Jerseys are flying off the shelves after this. 2015, Week 14, Sunday Night Eagles. What does this bring to mind, these 31 touches?
Oh, man. Just how blessed I was. I had a great, no, people don't realize, I mean, they do because our team was good. I had such a great team of teammates and older guys that really helped me, do what I did there in Arizona. And I was a rookie. And, Larry, Carson, Patrick, Tyron, Calais. I mean, I had so many guys, Drew Stanton, Drew Butler. Those guys really helped me out in transitioning from college to the pros. I went to a small college. And then to come to Arizona at the time where they were just on the doorstep every year for the last, 3 years prior to that of making it to the Super Bowl and having good seasons. And, stuff would happen. Carson towards ACL or things like that. And man, it was more of the thing I remember most and loved and cherished the most was the bond I had with the guys on the team, man. And I learned very quickly that it's a business because guys that I would never have thought to leave the Cardinals ended up leaving the next year, the year after, like Tyron and Calais and those guys. And I was like, there's no way they're going to disband, this team after we made it so far. And I figured out quickly that it was a business. And it was a good time, man.
I want to see those highlights again because you're talking about what it meant to you. And talk to me about you. David, you're the perfect running back. You're your speed. How did you escape? Can we see those highlights from that game again? This is one game. You had 3 touchdowns. It was crazy. It put you on the map and all that. I think they're trying to re-rack it. I'm just thinking like, Monty, let's clip this off. You got to retire as a Cardinal, right? Is that the plan here? Yeah, you deserve to retire as a Cardinal.
Oh yeah. That's my goal. To retire, finish my career where it started as a Cardinal. And I was just trying to, prove myself at that time. We had a big running back class that year with Todd and it was a couple of other guys, Amir Abdullah and those guys, Duke Johnson. We had a big class. And I was just trying to prove myself coming from a small college. And even Bruce Arians at the time hated rookies. I was one of them. No matter what I did, he was like, he's not ready. And so I was just trying to do everything I can to get on the field and showcase my talents and ultimately help the Cardinals, win games.
You had the strength, you had the speed. I don't know how you're escaping some of these things. It's absolutely insane. The receiving ability, it's brilliant to watch. I love it so much. And then, 2016, you had arguably one of the greatest seasons by a running back in NFL history. 15 straight games, at least 100 yards from scrimmage. NFL record at the time. You led the league with 373 touches, 2,118 yards, 20 scores. 20 scores. So when you look at those numbers and these moments and these highlights, knowing what you know now, what would you tell this guy out here making fools of everybody else on the other side? What would you tell him about how rare that is?
That it is rare. And that, what I did in 2016, not a lot of people did. It's very hard to do. And, everything that I did leading up to that paid off. That was the biggest thing. I was going through a lot of, adversity, going to smaller colleges and stuff. And it finally paid off at that moment in that season. And, just the biggest thing is just cherish it. Like I said, I found out quick that it doesn't happen all the time. Not a lot of guys can do what I was doing in 2016.
Did you think you would, David? Did you think it would just keep rolling that way?
I definitely did, for sure. I thought I was definitely going to keep it rolling and have another season, better season than that the year after. Obviously the Rams game with the knee injury, trying to go for 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing, which I'm grateful for Bruce for trying to do that. It was kind of a meaningless game at the end, and he was still trying to help me out and become one of those guys. I think only two or one guy has ever done that in the league in history. And so, man, that's probably one of the things I regret the most, is not being able to get that 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving.
You had so many highs in these moments, like truly one of the standalone best seasons I've ever seen. And I could watch those highlights all day. But you also dealt with a lot of adversity. I mean, like 20 to 30 injuries throughout your entire career. What was the lowest point that you battled through?
It was probably, honestly, it was the Hopkins trade coming to Houston, and thinking that it was going to be, Houston the year before. I think they made it to like the second round of the playoffs. And then going through that season, I mean, we fired our head coach 4 games in, and it was just no one really wanted to be there. It was a tough season. And, obviously with the trade of the Hopkins trade, everyone was, I literally had to delete social media because of people assumed that I was part of wanting to trade and do that trade. And, obviously when the season started, going downhill for the Texans, it was a rough season. It was a rough time. Luckily I did have my wife and my family supporting me and backing me up and being there for me through all that, hardship. And
it's always hard when you pop off one year. The follow-up to that is incredibly hard. I think it's like it's a good example for somebody like even at the quarterback, like C.J. Stroud rolls in, he's Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now he's got to follow that up. And like if, you have to be built to deal with adversity like you sort of dealt with. I mean, I will say that I know that I'm surprised to hear you say it was that trade. I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like you had a great year, right? You had 1,000 yards?
Yeah, no, I don't even know if I did. I don't think I did.
You did. You had 1,000 yards in Houston. You had 8 touchdowns in Houston. So I think you're being a little hard on yourself, David.
I am. See, but I'm comparing that to my 2016 year,
and
that's what everybody was trying to. Yeah, exactly. And that's what everybody was trying to, have me do that at the Texans. And it wasn't just the trade. It was more of the season as a whole at the Texans that year, I would say. Dealing with everything that was going on that I actually didn't really have a part of, with, just the turmoil of the coaches and the players, their relationship between them two. And, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, obviously not being on the team the year prior.
Yeah.
And so it really wasn't a trade. It was more of just dealing with a whole season, NFL season of, 16 or 17 games of that plus COVID. It was a COVID year where no one knew what was going on. I remember the first 2 games, there was no one in the stands. And so it was a lot of stuff thrown my way, a lot of adversity. And so I feel like it wasn't just a trade. It was a lot of stuff that contributed to that season as well.
I think it also goes back to everything gets compared to 2016, and then Bill O'Brien gets fired 4 games in. Romeo Crennel takes over. Like you're saying, there's this these push and pull politics, a pandemic, all of that. It's like the 2016 season. You would never not want it, right? Like you would, but it's not all a blessing. There's a little. Everything gets stacked up to that. How do your retirement has to also lead back to that, like chasing that again, wanting that 1,000. There's this talk about like whose career would you rather have, Eli Manning's with 2 rings or Aaron Rodgers with 1 ring and all of that. So when it comes to looking at seasons and careers, would you have traded the 2016 amazing season, that one moment, for the longevity of a 10 healthy season, 1,000 yards, 7 to 8 touchdowns a year?
No, definitely not. because just like a ring, you never know if you can get a ring ever in your career. And just like that 2016 season, I never knew if I was going to get that again. So I'd rather have that 2016 season and then have the career, which it wasn't a bad career for me, but have the career that I had been to play 10 years and have 6 or 7 touchdowns and not be known as one of the best and, just be an average type running back. I definitely keep my 2016 season for sure.
I would too. And I would take Aaron Rodgers' career, I think, over Eli Manning's. What do you think? What would you rather take?
Eli's. The rings you can't get those again. And you can make money off of when you're done playing. As you can see with like Tony Romo, Peyton Manning, the brothers with their show that they have.
4 MVPs.
But you can never go back, but you can never get a ring. I feel like a ring is, that's the ultimate goal every season is to get a Super Bowl ring for every player. Obviously, you have your own individual goals. Like I tried to get was 1,000, but the ultimate goal is to get a ring. And I can tell you one thing. I bet you talk to any player that played in the league and never got a Super Bowl ring, and you ask them the same question, I bet they say the same thing. They'd rather have the Super Bowl ring than to, have, like you said, the MVPs and stuff like that.
Is it crazy to think that C.J. Stroud might have a Super Bowl ring at some point? You're talking about the year you got there. I feel like pandemic was not that long ago. And in such a short period of time, your experience with the Texans has turned now into the quickest franchise turnaround maybe I've ever seen. D'Amico, Nick Caserio, you live in Houston. I just would love to know what your expectations are for these Texans this season.
Oh, yeah, they definitely have a good chance. I feel like he's definitely did a great job with them as a rookie last year. And like you said, like we've been talking about, you only get better. You only want to get better and have a better season the next year. And so I just feel like with the Texans and everything that's going on with them, it's going definitely in an upward spiral. And I feel like they have a great chance, especially in their division. We know they probably have a great odds of winning their division alone. And then just having to beat, the Chiefs and those good teams once they get to the playoffs. I definitely see it. And especially, like you said, being in Houston, I can feel the atmosphere. I can feel the fans just coming along, and they're starting to really believe in and have hope for the Texans. And with C.J. Stroud, they just got Stephon Diggs, and so I feel like they got some good weapons for him. What about Joe Mixon? I got to get your thoughts. I mean, is he a fit? Have you watched him run? Is he a fit for this offense? He definitely is, because he's a hard running back, and that's, like you said, ever since D'Amico has came and been the head coach, they're more of a downhill run type offense, and so he fits him a lot better than a pass catching running back, I would say. Even though Singletary last year did catch some good, have some good catches for him, but I just feel like Joe Mixon fits their offensive scheme very well. 23rd rushing offense last year. Hopefully they can improve with Joe Mixon. Congrats on an amazing career. Thank you for reliving some of the highlights for me. I'm going to keep the door open just a little bit in case in the playoffs a Super Bowl contender comes calling. I'm just going to leave the door open. But you enjoy your family and little DJ and snowboarding, apparently, as we leave the show here on Thursday. You're Mr. You and Megatron should link up and do snowboarding. DJ, I appreciate you. You know that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congrats, David. Bye. See you tomorrow, guys. Or no, Monday.